by saying we are so excited about this show that is coming to Melbourne. Of course, with Melbourne opening back up, everybody wants to head out and see shows at the moment. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your show.
Yeah, so I'm Yours Maddy is a original comedy cabaret burlesque. It's basically my love letter to sex, this kind of risque, poetic, crass love letter about dating, feminism, and we're kind of just trying to prove that orgasms are not just for men anymore.
Exactly. And where did the idea first come about for you, and how long has it taken you to be able to put this show together?
Yeah, so I originally, the very first lockdown, that's a while ago now, started kind of compiling some stories of my sex life and my dating life and the kind of awkward, embarrassing, funny things that have happened to me. And at the start of this year, I came back to the script when kind of some influential, awful political things were happening. Things were happening with Sarah Everard, Brittany Higgins, Craig McLachlan, and I just went, no, there's something more kind of substantial in here, which kind of got the rewriting happening, got the show on at the MC Showroom.
And I know for myself, even as a writer, sometimes writing from a personal point of view can be really easy and sometimes it can be really difficult. Did you find this a difficult process to be able to write this out, or did you find it quite an easy process?
It's been a bit of both. Like, I've obviously found it very easy to just write out my stories of my life and things that have happened to me. But there's also been like, okay, this happened to me, but let's put a joke in here. Let's make this bit more interesting. Let's find the heart of it. That's still something that, you know, we're really rewriting and just making sure that this kind of has the funniness and the powerfulness to it too.
That's the bit I think I would have found the most difficult, putting comedy into something so serious and something so important to get that out to the public. How did you go about writing that comedy, and did you have to bounce ideas off other people while you were doing that, or did you solely kind of at first focus on actually just putting it in there?
Yeah, so when I was first writing it, it was really just me in lockdown thinking, my sex life is hilarious, let's go. But as the process has gone along, I've done a lot of work with my director, Ebony McGeady, and we've really had lots of script writing sessions to kind of really nut this out, because she's phenomenal. She's a cabaret artist herself and has really helped shape the show.
I guess that's the other important part too. You're mixing comedy with cabaret and burlesque. How difficult was that to mix all three genres kind of in together, but also to make sure that each of them had almost an equal part in the show as well?
Yeah, I feel like they all kind of kept popping in as I went. No, I want this show to kind of have this fun vintage lens, and to me burlesque is one of the most empowering feminist things out there. Like, being able to strip, get your nipples out, like whatever it is just so empowering, and it kind of comes back to this thing of sex and female empowerment and empowering our bodies. So to me, they've all kind of linked really well, and they've just kind of been like, yeah, oh no, that works in here perfectly, yeah, I'll put more burlesque, I'll put some comedy cabaret, let's get some people in the audience up. Like, it's just kind of naturally become an element of all these three things.
And for people out there that might not know too much about burlesque, how long does it take to learn a performance of burlesque? Like, it's like any other dance kind of performance. So how do you go about learning it, and how long do you have to practice and rehearse until you get the performance 100% right?
Yeah, I've come from a very heavy dance background. So for me, like, I've had almost 17 years of training now in dance, and that kind of led into the burlesque world. But there's such a fine art, and coming from an actor's perspective as well, there's a fine art of like training and meeting professionals and seeing professional shows. It just kind of has to keep progressing and working and training, and like there's never really an end with any of these crafts.
For yourself, coming from a dance background, what was that like the first time that you performed burlesque? Did it feel different to you, or did it just feel perfectly natural like what you'd been doing with dance all those years?
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of burlesque in front of audiences yet, so this is a bit new for me, hopefully a bit new for the audiences as well. But it's really empowering. I as a dancer, and as I just feel very comfortable in my skin, and it's kind of that one moment where you can just be like, yes, you have come here to pay to see this, and I'm just going to own it and I'm going to work it.
Yeah. Now, I know from when I've done stand-up comedy over the years that whenever I tell a story about somebody that's been in my life, I always get people coming up to me going, that was me, wasn't it? That you told that story about me. Do you think that might happen with your show as well, especially when you're talking about something as intimate as a sex life?
Yeah, funnily enough, most of the people who feature in my show are still good, close friends of mine, no matter the funny, awkward things that have happened to the two of us, that they will be there, like, center front, saying, like, yep, that's our story. I love that. I remember when that happened. That's great. I'm very open, so bringing that kind of openness onto the stage and hoping other people kind of feel that openness and just being able to talk about sex. It's great.
Exactly. And you've got an amazing team around you as well. You're working with Ashton, Jack, and Ebony. Tell us a little bit about each of those people and how they've become involved with the show, but also what they bring to the show as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ebony, Jack, and I have worked together before. We had a previous production that I produced and choreographed called Moments. It's like a dance physical theatre production about different moments we have in our life. So I've worked with them as director and lighting designer in the same capacity. So I had to bring them on board for this particular show again. Ebony and I trained together actually at Ballarat, and she kind of went on to lots of comedy and cabaret herself. She actually had a show about Melania Trump that she toured. Her and a friend playing Kellyanne Conway had a phenomenal cabaret show, so she's a wonder in that department. Jack owns his own company called GJ Productions and is just a wizard. I can tell him to do anything and he'll be there. He's magic. Ashton is new to the team, and we are so lucky to have her, young female artist just like myself and Ebony, and she's a piano wizard. She's incredible, turning these songs into the kind of swing, different versions that we want. She does anything. She's amazing.
Awesome. Well, for all our listeners out there, we encourage you to go and see this show. This is a very, very important show, so we are encouraging you to go and see I'm Yours Maddy. It is on from the 14th to the 17th of July at the MC Showroom in Paran, and all of the details from where you can get tickets are up there on our website. And if you're listening on the podcast, just look below where you found the podcast, and all of those details will be up there as well. Maddy, is there anything you want to say to our listeners before they head along and see this show? Because I know this is a very, very important show, and we want as many of them out there to go and see it as possible.
Yeah, I think I'd just like to say, obviously there's some trigger warnings about sexual references, violence, rape, nudity, but it's all in there for such important reasons, and it's been handled with care because these issues are really, really close to my heart. I've been through a lot of instances, and I think it's just really important that we hear more female stories, and we just understand that we all need to be empowered. Sex is important, and it's not something that we should use and abuse.
Definitely. As someone who lost a close friend to sexual violence, I know how important this show is, and that's why I'm encouraging people to head along and see the show. Again, for everybody out there, it's on from the 14th to the 17th of July at the MC Showroom, and all of the ticket details are right up there on our website. Maddy, I want to say thank you so much for doing this show. I know how important it is, and I cannot wait to hear what our listeners think of this show as well.
Thank you for having me. It's an honour.
Not a problem at all. Thank you so much for chatting to us. I'll let you go. Have a great night, and hopefully we get to talk to you again soon.
Great. Talk soon.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye.